Everybody, welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 107. You're here with your host, Nick and Camus. On this week's show, we have Anthony Topp,
Hello.
Bronson Fiore,
A wild Bronson appears.
and we have two brand new staff members, Tori Laughlin
Yo.
and Stephanie Janofsky.
Hello.
All right, so we're back with another episode of Unscripted. How's everyone's week been going?
Pretty
Tired.
crazy.
It's just a general trend. My week's been crazy. People are tired. Other crazy weeks. Yeah, it's nuts. And it's only going to get crazier because, believe it or not, like, next week is November. Can you guys believe it? Like, where
You
the
mean next
hell
month?
this year? Where has this year went? Like, I remember, like, Christmas, like, it was the other day. And here I am.
Likewise,
Like,
man.
Christmas is pretty much, it's 2.5 months away. Christmas is 2.5 months away. Like, what?
Dude, I'm 24 in
Like,
6 days.
Christmas is less than 80 days away. Let me put it
Okay,
like that.
no. So last week I was in my figure drawing class and we were drawing like this lady who was dressed up like a tavern wench, and my freaking figure drawing teacher was playing the Nutcracker.
Oh, no,
Like,
okay. Here's the thing. Here's
You
my
did
drama
not
line.
fucking put
So I went
Christmas
to.
before Halloween.
Yeah, no. See,
fucking
here's
people.
my thing. I went to Michael's with my girlfriend. I think it was last week, I believe. And they had fucking Christmas decorations
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I'm like, what in the world? Like, here's
You
my
should see
thing.
the big 8-story Macy's here in San Francisco. They have freaking Christmas in September.
Here's my thing. First of all, it's not even Halloween yet. But regardless, I know, like, here's the thing. I understand everyone likes to get into their Christmas spirit early. Here's my thing. When people start Christmas in the beginning of October, by the time Christmas comes, I'm sick and tired of it. Like,
Right?
damn, sick and tired of it.
No,
Here's
my
if
other
it was
thing.
my way, Christmas should start after Thanksgiving.
Yes,
because
No,
and that's
even
how I was
then.
always raised. Like, Christmas, as far as when we put up the Christmas tree, we've always put up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Like,
but guess
Black
what?
Black Friday should be like the official, okay, stores can put their Christmas shit in the stores. Because when I'm walking through the mall, like, I'm just waiting for it. Watch. It won't even be November. I'll be walking through the mall and they'll be playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Just
Anyway, I
past England.
gotta get my ass out of here.
Can I
It's
just
like,
say, it's gotten
by
to
the
the
time
point.
Christmas comes around, I'm like, okay, I'm sick and tired of Christmas.
It's gotten to the point
First
where
off,
you
there's-
can't
there's
even.
There's two motherfucking holidays before it. Halloween, which is amazing. I don't know why these stores aren't pimping Halloween more.
Right?
And then
Favorite holiday?
my favorite is actually Christmas, but
No, mine
Yeah.
is Halloween.
well, no, I know. I'm saying, like, favorite holiday, mine probably is Christmas, even though spending it with my family, I'd rather have, like, one of my toes chopped off.
Nice.
But, I enjoy the Christmas
I can just
season.
sorry to interrupt. I can just see Bronson like taking Christmas family pictures with his family in like a Santa Claus sweater.
No, it's gotta be like a cat sweater with Christmas lights that actually light up.
wearing reindeer whatever you call them, horns on his head.
Antlers.
Antlers, thank you. That's the word
you're
I was
looking for.
See, speaking of which, that reminds me of the one time it's like the judge thing. It's called the gavel, by the way.
Yeah, sometimes the words do not come to me as they should.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just, I love Halloween as a holiday. And then Thanksgiving should get its due at least. I mean, I'm not super fond of Thanksgiving. God knows, it's probably my least favorite holiday.
But so much food.
But so much time with the Fiores. Ugh.
Well, that's just you, man.
Man, I'm telling you right now.
My family's rad.
Yeah, your family's rad. My family's fucking just
Crazy?
my God.
Psychotic?
Bad, yeah, all those all work. Every single one of those. Yeah, but so yeah, Thanksgiving is probably the least favorite for me. I remember I was talking to Ray the other day.
Not
like,
Valentine's Day?
You know what? Yeah, Singles Awareness Day is pretty shitty.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, that's I'm glad someone caught that besides me. Every year I'm like Singles Awareness Day, and no one gets that. It's like, you mean sad?
Sad.
And I'm like, yep, sad. Um, but I don't know, man. This year's gone by so quickly. Like I said, I am 24 in 6 days. Like how weird is that?
It's crazy. I've known you since you were like barely 22. No,
No,
not even 22.
No, yeah, I wasn't even 22 yet. I was 21 when I met
Oh, I
you.
was expecting her to say like 16 or something.
What?
No,
Oh, man.
22.
I've known Anthony since I was Anthony? I was 8th grade, so
It was 8th grade. We sat next to each other in advisory class.
You wouldn't have been 15, like maybe 13 or 14.
No, I remember I started late, so I was 15.
You were 14 then.
Yeah, yes, when I first met him, I was 14. But yeah, so I was 14 when I met Anthony. Let's see. How old was I when I met Aaron? I was 16 when I met Aaron. Who else has worked for the site? I was 20 when I met Nick, obviously. Yeah,
Why is that obvious?
That is obvious, because if you know when I started with TGA, then you know that I met Nick when I was 20. Which, I'm kind of curious how many people have followed TGA that long to know that when Anthony and I started, which was February 2011.
Damn, that was 2011?
Yes, it was.
February 2011. Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking over 3 years ago.
So what game news has been going on though?
Yeah, so Driveclub's out. So the game that was
out.
originally going to be launched off of PlayStation 4 is now officially out.
So,
Anthony,
does the shirt hold up to the? Does the reputation hold up?
I can still wear the shirt in public. Even though everyone at like our circle of friends calls me a hipster because that has a hashtag on it.
Whatever, you are a hipster.
Okay. If I'm a hipster, then
hipsters don't watch American football.
It's
too mainstream.
Water polo.
I'm not a hipster.
Did you see water polo in the Olympics though? That shit's weird, man.
I had a friend in high school who played water polo. Like that.
What even is that sport?
I don't know, man.
It's soccer in the water, pretty much.
That's so weird. You play polo. Alan? Yeah.
So Driveclub. So if you have not watched it already, please go watch Anthony's amazing video review.
Which whoever commented this is like, that should be as big as IGN and GameSpot. Yeah, like as much as I agree with you, we're working there. We're getting there. Well,
yeah,
sure.
Anthony's video reviews are always really good, and Driveclub is no exception.
It's a solid game.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying Driveclub. Picked it up Tuesday, and I was enjoying it. I agree with Anthony's review. I think I'd give it like an 8.5. That's the general reviews I've been seeing are about like high 7s, low 8s.
I want to know what the fuck is up with GameSpot. It's like every review that comes out of GameSpot.
5.
Yeah, like they gave it a 5.
I don't agree. Like a 5? Like come on, Driveclub is a lot better than a 5.
I'm gonna get to the comment section eventually, but because our review is on YouTube and a lot of people commented on there.
Really?
And I read through it, and one of the most common things that people say is like, "This is better than GameSpot review. This is better than the GameSpot review." And I'm just like, "How bad is that review?" So I watched it, and I'm like, "Oh,
that bad, huh?"
What happened was that they gave it a 5 out of 10, and basically on a school scale, that's literally failing. And normally, what I notice is that whenever people review a bad game, it usually is entertaining because you have an infinite list of metaphors and similes that you can use to describe how bad a game is. Like with Pokemon Channel, I would rather just bash my head against the wall watching really awful television than to play Pokemon Channel. Like, it can be entertaining that way because you can just bash the heck out of it. a 5 out of 10 game kind of qualifies for you to give it to bash on it humorously. The problem was that they tried to be funny about it and didn't seem very professional, in my personal opinion.
I mean, which editor reviewed that at each of those sites anyway?
I didn't check. I mean, like Giant Bomb was kind of like in that crowd too of like saying this is a 2 out of 5 game.
Yeah, they gave it a 2. What did they say about it? Like, I mean, that's
things they said. You mean like specifically what they didn't like about the game?
Yeah, like that.
They found that you couldn't really. Oh boy, there. They found that the AI is just obnoxious. You didn't have much to do. Those are the only 2 I remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, so let's talk about our impressions. I know Anthony reviewed it. I know Bronson's played it, and I've been playing the mess out of it since I got it Tuesday, which is yesterday, because we record on Wednesday. And here's the thing. I agree with like a solid 8.5. The game looks gorgeous. The game looks so good. So good. Like, I can't remember the location, but like when you're racing and you see like the mountains with the snow on it as you're like whipping through turns, it just looks so good. Like so good. So graphics looks amazing. The sound is really, really good. Like it kind of like it took me a little getting used to playing the game. I was like, okay, there's no music. Like there's literally no music playing, but as Anthony mentioned in his review, the sound of this game is so good. It's clear that Evolution wanted to make it clear that, hey, like, look what we did with the audio. It's really good. Gameplay is fun. I find it a blast to drive. It's not your Gran Turismo or Forza, but it's not your Need for Speed either. The closest thing I would compare it to is like a Project Gotham. I think it's probably the closest thing I can relate to. Or the Need for Speed shifts. I could say you could compare it to as well. But I think the gameplay is very solid. I'm having a blast playing it. Probably some of the most fun I've ever had in a racing game. The AI, I do kind of have an issue with. Yet again, I'm not 100% surprised because it is Evolution. Same team made Motorsport.
Rubber Band
The game
AI.
has terrible Rubber Band AI. Like, there's been races that I'll just nail every single corner perfectly. Like I should be completely blowing these guys by, and they're still passing me and right on my tail. But then there'll be another race where I'm doing pretty bad, and I'll still finish first place. Like, I'm not a fan of Rubber Band AI. I understand
no
the
one
purpose
is.
of it.
It doesn't make the game fun because it feels like I get why people get pissed at Rubber Band AI because like it makes it so if you do super well, then it's like, oh, this doesn't really matter all that much.
Yeah, for people who don't know what Rubber Band AI, what it is, it's a mechanic that's meant to keep every race close. So pretty much, you're doing really well, the rest of the AI is going to do really well. You're doing pretty shit, the rest of the AI is going to be pretty shit. Which that's not necessarily fair. Driveclub, at least I'm aware of, they do not have different racing skills like you have with most games. Such as like a Forza or a Gran Turismo.
Forza, I got Forza Horizon 2 last week.
I've been playing Forza Horizon 2. I love that game. We'll go that into in a second, though.
But that game, I love how there's no AI, it's all drivatars. And what I have found is most people's drivatars drive like sane people, especially if they're off my friends list. But a couple select people drive like fucking maniacs. Like I have Jeff Gerstmann from Giant Bomb's drivatar, and if you were to put my drivatar against his, you'd basically just get a game of Burnout. It's just fucking chaos. Which I like that. I like that whole drivatar concept with the Forza games. I really want that to go to other racing games because
I definitely think we're definitely gonna see that with the next Gran Turismo for sure.
Because it makes the races more interesting because they play like people.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with racing games. AI, it's just you never see them running off the track, and they never make mistakes. And Forza Horizon 2, especially with Forza Horizon 2, like, yes, Forza 5, Drivatars were pretty good, but it was still, you could tell it was like half and half. Before the Horizon 2, they nailed it. Like, you'll see, like, cars, like, don't being aggressive. You'll see cars, like, completely flying off the track. Like, it really feels like every single race you're in is like you're racing online. It is really, really good. So I definitely applaud Turn 10. I think Playground Games was the team behind
Playground is
Xbox
probably more like taking Turn 10's code and just kind of tweaking it.
Yeah, so
I would probably say more
Playground
Turn 10.
Games was the team responsible for the Xbox One version. I can't remember the team that did the Xbox 360 version. But going back to Driveclub, yeah, so the Run Band AI I'm not a fan of. The social features, well, I haven't been able to experience it because the servers are still down.
And that's why we haven't got to play the PlayStation Plus edition either.
Yes, so the PlayStation Plus edition of Driveclub has been delayed till when we do not know. The reason why is it's just been a disaster for Driveclub at launch because the online servers aren't working. And essentially
they weren't working at like freaking 9 p.m. the night before it came out when we were doing 60-minute access, which I found to be quite strange.
Yeah, it's not like Driveclub's a game that millions of people would have picked up at a midnight launch or something, so it definitely wasn't like the initial launch factor. But yeah, yes, they delayed the game, and the reason why it says that they obviously are having these server issues. They want to get the game working for people who bought the game first, which is completely understandable. Yes, it's frustrating for everyone not expecting to get it free through PlayStation Plus.
Well, especially because like the game itself is so dependent on online.
Well, yeah, it's built as this big social game, and the fact that the game's now been out for 2 full days and it's down, it doesn't really quite make sense. Because here's the thing, like.
It looks bad on them.
Yeah, it looks awful on Sony because it's like going back to like PlayStation 3. It's like with Sony, with the PlayStation 3, it's like if there's a big release, do not play the first day online because it's not going to work. Every single Call of Duty was a bust. We won't even get to the SOCOM stuff, but it's just like it was a disaster. In PlayStation 4, it seemed like they really turned it around because we didn't really see those problems, especially Destiny. Destiny was
so
a real test. Like Destiny. Millions and millions of people playing Destiny day one, and there was no issues at all.
No, I was so shocked when I got my
Driveclub probably
PS4.
might have sold maybe a couple 100,000 copies the first day, maybe. Driveclub's not the game that's going to go. I could be wrong, and I hope it does really well, but I just don't see Driveclub selling much more than 1.5 million in its lifespan. It's like it's just downright awful. It's like you don't have that big of a audience, like Anthony said. It wasn't even working like right before the game went live.
I mean, I was so shocked when I got my PS4 that first night. I was expecting like a PS3 style network thing where like, well, if I'm lucky, I might be able to get on here and get the update. And actually, no, I was so shocked at how well the PS4 worked that first night. I mean, I was straight shocked. And to have like this is one of their big first party games. I mean, this isn't the first time that particular studio though would have issues like this. I know the MotorStorms launched kind of rough.
MotorStorm Online was never that great.
I mean, some companies just have trouble with online, like Nintendo,
and EA with Madden.
The new Smash Bros. Just came out for 3DS, and I've been playing it online a fair amount. And,
I gotta go pick up my copy still.
You should. Very good. I know. I will say this, if you're playing a match with 3 people is, like, the maximum I feel you can play with this game's, on a handheld.
3DS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
with the XL, the screen is too small for all that action.
Yeah, when I was playing at E3 on the XL, I was like, even this is too small for this. So I found 3 is kind of the sweet spot, though. I was playing 3-person matches most of the day during my lunch break. And
have you unlocked everybody yet?
No, not even close.
Eli just unlocked everybody.
My favorite out of the new characters so far is Little Mac.
Yeah?
Yeah, the guy from Punch-Out. I thought it would be Mega Man, but I like the fact that Little Mac has some level of speed, but he also hits hella hard. Um, uh, anyway, that's Driveclub. Do we have anything else about it?
Well, before we move on, so those wait for the PlayStation Plus edition. Hopefully they really need to get this fixed because it's frustrating. Like you have a game it's dependent on your servers and it's now 2 days. It's just not working. Like just
it's literally working like 2 days before the game launched because that's when I filmed the video review.
People with the game.
Yeah, and it's like, and things weren't exactly completely broken. Maybe there was like a couple of spazzing out moments, but I just kind of thought, oh, it's online gaming and it's spazzing out a little.
Yeah, like it's just plain and simple.
I'm sure they'll get their shit together.
100% unexcusable. Like you cannot, like especially with a game that you guys delayed almost a year. Like yes, it clearly shows with the visuals and gameplay. Visuals and gameplay are top notch, absolute blast. But there's no excuse to launch a game, and especially we're in 2014. There's no excuse for launching a game, especially that does not sell an incredible amount of copies, and the online not work, especially when the game is 100% dependent on it. It's not 100%. You can't play it without online. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, you can't even play the game. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was, okay, full-on single-player, then there's the multiplayer. But no, the online servers are so heavily integrated into the single-player experience that, like, a quarter of the game's not even there.
I mean, the single-player, yeah, because in Driveclub, it's like, even if you're playing in single-player mode, the face-offs kind of relies on the servers to say, okay, we need to pick somebody here for you to challenge in a face-off. That's one of the points that makes Driveclub fun, and if you don't have that, then you're just completing whatever objective the CD tells you.
Yeah,
which is
and
like some preset
so
number.
Bad too, because at the beginning of every single race, it's like it displays while you're racing that there's a error connected to the server and stuff.
We saw that on 60-man access.
Yeah, it's all about, like, first impressions just terrible with this game. I mean, with graphics, oh yeah, they'll wow you for sure. But then you get these errors about the server not connecting and all these features you've heard about aren't in there because online's not working. It's completely unexcusable. So Sony really dropped the ball there. Surprised me, like I said, Destiny launched just fine, and Destiny probably sold 20 times the amount of copies as Driveclub did day one. So,
I mean, I think that might have said how, like, maybe Sony expected this game to do poorly. Maybe Evolution just didn't have good.
I don't think Sony expected it to do poorly, just because I mean they've been pushing this game a lot.
I mean, it's one of their big two for the holiday season this year. Like their big two.
Yeah, I mean, with Destiny, I'm sure Sony probably said, "Hey, we're not having this shit break down because if Destiny doesn't work day one, but it works on the Xbox, and we're promoting this as the premium experience, we're gonna get so much shit for it." So Sony probably like, "Okay, we're gonna spend a shitload of money on extra servers and making sure this shit works." But it's just like, yeah, like this is a first-party title. This is your first-party racing game on the PlayStation 4. It looks good. You guys invested an extra year into the title. It was delayed almost an entire year. So that means you're paying everyone's salary for an extra year to release this game. So you're investing that extra money. If you're going to spend an extra year's worth of salaries on people, which easily probably was maybe a couple $1 million, and at least make sure the game launches with online working. I mean, that's just a big bust there. I mean, it's unfortunate, but kudos. But yeah, my impressions on the game, I love it. It does lack content, that's for sure. Which I was it's disappointing. I mean, once again, the game was delayed almost a whole year, and yes, with the details and the graphics and the racing, like the core gameplay and visual set. Great, amazing. Nothing needs to be done there. The penalties can be very upsetting sometimes. So there's penalties in the game, or if you like crash into an opponent, it'll keep you from accelerating for like a few seconds, or if you run off the track, or cut a corner, or things like that. And it'll also deduct from your Driveclub points. Like I said, Anthony goes into full depth on all this in his video review. The penalties can be very frustrating because you can go into a turn, and there's just a bunch of people in your way to where you can't possibly hit that turn without at least hitting the car, and then you get penalized for it. Or those times that it'll penalize me for crossing a corner when I barely tap the grass. It's upsetting at times because those little things are what cause you to lose a race or miss your time goal or anything like that. But I mean, I've been playing the game for about 2 days, and I'm about halfway through all the single player. It's kind of upsetting. Versus like Forza Horizon 2, which is an amazing game as well. If you have an Xbox One, go get the game. It's probably my favorite Forza game out of all the Forzas. It's unbelievably amazing.
I have been surprisingly impressed by that game.
It's so amazing. Like the first Forza Horizon, it was good. It was solid. Forza Horizon 2, unbelievable. Great game. Definitely the best racing game this year. I mean, the crew comes out, but I'm going to be honest.
Hey, man, Mario Kart, yo. Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about in the realm of Mario Kart. Yes, it's racing, and in the more of the realm of not necessarily simulation.
Mario Kart, yay! Sorry.
But, it's Driveclub is very good. Don't get me wrong. I just hope that the game sells enough to make a sequel because it's a great first start.
I mean, MotorStorm didn't sell. The first one did all right. So I mean,
yeah, MotorStorm ended up selling pretty well. And hey, Evolution, if you want to take a break from Driveclub and work on the new MotorStorm, please do. I would MotorStorm Apocalypse, so good.
I want them to make goddamn another Downhill Domination.
I want a MotorStorm, and I want it to look like that teaser trailer that you guys showed for the PlayStation 3. That's what I want. Oh man, I'm a huge fan of MotorStorm. Like MotorStorm 2, I can't even tell you guys the amount of time I spent in MotorStorm 2 online. Like unbelievably amount of time. There was literally a whole summer where that's all I did was play fucking MotorStorm. And I had a couple of people that played online with me every single day. Game was so good. So freaking good. But yeah, with Driveclub, Evolution has said they're committed to releasing a lot of content, which a lot of it's going to be free, with new events, stuff like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they support the game, because right now there's not much to do. The fact that I'm halfway through the game in 2 days. Like Forza Horizon 2, I haven't played that game for a long time. I mean, I've been playing that game for about a week and a half now. I think it's about a week and a half or a week. And I'm only 15% through the game.
Haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, I completed the first, what do they call that big final race you do?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but yes.
But that is a fun race. That is an awesome race because it's like a 20-minute race. It's not laps, but it's just like a 20-minute race
across the countryside.
Yeah,
it's really
gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Now, Driveclub does look better than Forza Horizon 2, but it's not a drastic difference. Forza Horizon 2 still looks amazing. Like when I first played that game, I was like, wow, because I played it on E3. It looked good, but they made a big jump since E3. Which is different from Forza 5, because when Forza 5 came out, it was actually a downgrade from what they showed at E3. So Horizon 2, they did an amazing job, and I'm definitely sold on this big open world thing. I'd love to see Gran Turismo do something like that. Obviously, a more simulated feel of it, but I'd love to see Gran Turismo, go away from this whole, select event panels, and that's how Driveclub works. But I love the whole open world, driving around, connecting with your friends. You guys can just go free roaming, or you guys can do specific races or events together. I love that. It's awesome. Forza Horizon 2, probably going to be my favorite racing game of the year.
Mario Kart, man. Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, Mario Kart I haven't had a chance to play yet.
Mario Kart 8 is so good.
But on the realm of racing with...
So pretty.
outside of the realm of Mario Kart racing, like your real cars, Forza Horizon 2, I do think it's a better game than Driveclub. I do like Driveclub. Definitely looks better. As far as
I would say like
which drives better, that's personal opinion. Both are very fun. As far as just what you're getting, Forza is just no comparison. Like Forza, you're getting so much more content, the ability to customize your cars, more dynamic range of cars. It's just not even a comparison. But Drive Club, I mean, it's definitely a solid game. If you have a PlayStation 4, definitely download the PlayStation Plus edition when it comes out. It's free. And check it out. And if you think it's worth, if you're really into it and you want the extra cars and tracks, then buy it.
And it's a $10 discount if you do get it.
Yeah, you can get it for $50 if you have. That's what I did. I have the digital version. So I paid $50 and upgraded to the full version of the game. So yeah, I definitely. I mean, you can't go wrong with downloading the PlayStation Plus edition whenever it does come out. But I mean, if you have money to spend, and you want to go to racing game, Drive Club is a good game. If you're strapped on cash, just download the PlayStation Plus edition and decide from there if you think it's worth your $60 or not, or $50 if you upgrade.
It doesn't surprise me that this game's a little disappointing. Like this year, it seems that like my favorite games have been surprises, and my disappointments have been hit by most titles. Infamous was an amazing game. I believe on the podcast I gave it a 9. It still was disappointing in some ways.
Really? You were disappointed?
Yes, mainly because of the story. And then versus a game like Donkey Kong that I had no hype for, and it's currently tied for my favorite game of the year so far. Just because I like the previews. I was like, oh, you guys made a really what looks to be a pretty competent 2D platformer. After playing it, it's probably the best 2D platformer I've played in years.
Awesome. It's been a long time since I've had anything like that come out too.
So.
Yeah, it's still in my top 10, but my most disappointing game this year is definitely Destiny.
That's everybody's most disappointing game.
Yeah,
they messed up on.
I've hit level 2.
Here's the thing: if you guys listen to the podcast leading up to Destiny's launch, I mentioned a million times how I was worried about it getting boring too fast, not being enough content, and I was right. It's just like you get to a certain point where it's like. It's like, what the, it's like Bungie's doing this thing where like, oh, there's like new content every week, but it's like stupid stuff, like the Queens of Wrath or whatever. It was stupid. It was very stupid. It's like no, like, and then this whole thing about the DLC. There's proof that the DLC they're releasing in December is already on the disc because there were videos of people glitching into the DLC. It's like, really? So
that's ridiculous.
You kept this content from us, push it as an expansion later on. Like, really? And it's like, there's no, like, they can't say anything. Like, there's literally no way to dodge it because there are videos on how you can glitch into accessing the expansion. Now, yes, I am sure there might be some extra things in the expansion, but the fact that you have any of the expansion on the disc and you're not given access to it right now is unbelievably ridiculous.
It just proves that they spent too much money advertising for the game and not actually developing it the way they should have.
Well, okay, so their budget was $500 million.
And
keep in mind that's not just development, that also includes marketing and future support. That means the development of their future expansions.
They said the actual development cost of the game.
Money on their game development because they screw up on so many things.
I mean, we've talked a lot about Destiny, but I feel that game had no idea what it wanted to be because like it's trying to be a Diablo, Borderlands loot style game, but it's not quite. But then it's also trying to be a really competent multiplayer co-op shooter.
They just tried too many things and they ended up failing.
And then it's also like on the one hand trying to be an MMO, but like it doesn't do any of those parts as good as the separate titles that it's trying to take those inspirations from. It's not as good as a shooter as Titanfall or Halo. It's not as good of a MMO as WoW or Final Fantasy. It's
and
not
it
as
won't
good.
be because it's trying to do too many things.
Yeah, like, I mean, I played that PvP a lot. Like, I'm level 25, almost 26. And other than, like, doing a raid with friends in the future and our extra live stream, I'm probably not going to go back to it. And then I look at games that I really enjoyed this year, like my favorites of the year, and it's like Transistor's one of them, and that's an indie game. Granted, it's from the Bastion guys, but still a smaller indie title. Donkey Kong, which kind of came out of nowhere for me. I really enjoyed Velocity 2X, which I didn't know anything about till it came out. Like there's a lot of games in that category, I guess, for me, versus the games I was excited for outside of like Smash and Mario Kart have been disappointing in some ways. And Theatrhythm also wasn't disappointing. Basically, if it wasn't on a Nintendo system and I was hyped for it, it has been disappointing. So, Anthony, I believe you said you wanted to say something?
Yeah, but we've kind of moved on to Destiny already.
Just say what you want to say, goddammit.
Okay, because I wanted to actually talk more about Driveclub, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, some things I actually want to address about Driveclub. Particularly like the YouTube comments that there's quite a lot of YouTube comments on it, so I'm going to talk about it. First noticeable one. I have a robotic voice. Yeah, this review I do have a robotic voice. What happened was that I wrote the review Saturday afternoon and recorded the narration kind of late Saturday night, kind of tired. And by the time it was all done, I'm like, okay, that's good enough. Sometimes, like when you're working on a schedule, you need to do that. You just kind of have to say, yeah, that's good enough. AI. Lots of people don't like the AI. Personally, for me, the reason why it just never really stood out is that the AI to me just kind of seems a lot like my personal experiences in online racing. Because in online racing, there's always going to be those 3 or 4 people who are so good at the game that you have absolutely zero chance of ever catching up to them. Ever. You can drive as best as you can, but there's always going to be like 3 or 4 people that are just going to completely blow you out of the water. So, to me, it's like, and not to mention in online racing, people don't know how to drive respectfully either, so they're always crowding around you. You can't get past any of them, and they crash into the back of you. So to me, the AI wasn't exactly too annoying because it reminded me.
Or you could be off the road all the time like me.
Yeah, you could be off the road all the time, and yeah, they do penalize you if you crash into people too hard or cut corners, but Forza penalizes you for cutting corners too. It's called they cut your vehicle speed by like 90% if you take this one illegal corner. In Driveclub, yeah, they are more severe about it, but it's just kind of like a case of you need to slow down a little more. So that's why the AI never really stood out to me. Other things that people said, I don't know, like the general consensus about Driveclub is you either like it or you've found the game really lousy. It's like there's 2 camps. There's kind of like no middle ground there, which
That's how a lot of things are, though.
That is a lot of things, but this game is particularly,
as we all know. It's like on the internet, it's either the greatest thing ever or it sucks. I mean, we've been doing this long enough to realize
in this game, this is kind of like more so because you've got people like me who actually like Driveclub and say, I like this game. It looks wonderful. It's got good driving dynamics. It makes me absolutely love the idea of using the accelerator pedal. I love the audio. It's just kind of it makes me love driving with speed in this game. And then there are those others who...
There is definitely a good sense of speed in the game, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then there are those who just say the AI is complete BS and has all these catastrophic problems, which, considering the online problems right now, I actually can understand, because when the 3 or 4 days I played it before I started writing my review, online was working. It was working fine. So, assuming the online worked, I imagine the game would be better, but now that's not working. That just kind of takes a lot out of it, and the game doesn't have that much for you to do anyway, so...
I mean, I think that was one of the big complaints from Giant Bomb, is just like, and I quote, that's the real problem with Driveclub. It's just a shame that there aren't more options to choose from, and the challenge system has potential, but it isn't that much fun to play. Like, I mean, other than the comment about its, entertainment value, which obviously that's going to be subjective for anyone, but a lot of people are complaining that seems to lack content.
Yeah, it's like you've got regular races.
As far as the cars go, a lot of people complain that, hey, there's only 50 cars. Yeah.
I don't think that's a big of a deal because, as I noted, it's like, yes, you're not going to have 500 cars like Gran Turismo. You're not going to have like 200 plus vehicles that you're going to find in a Forza game. But I think the variety is good. You can choose from the fastest of the fast Euro cars to the basic hot hatchback Mini Cooper. I think the variety is good. It's just that it's just centered really heavily around Europe, which that's kind of disappointing.
All the cars are from Europe, which is kind of disappointing.
The only one that I found that isn't is the Hennessy Venom GT, which Hennessy is an American company, but even then, that vehicle is kind of like has kind of based on the Lotus Elise.
Right. So 50 cars
and the YouTube videos also, the YouTube comments also pointed out something very interesting, is that the lack of Lamborghinis drives people nuts. And considering, like, maybe if you look at the list of most desirable supercar manufacturers, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, those kinds like there, Porsche you obviously are not going to get because EA signed an exclusivity deal with those guys. Lack of Lamborghinis are pissing people off. Yeah.
But, 50 cars, I can see some people being let down by that. The track variation, I think, is very solid. Never once yet have I been like, I gotta do this track again. I think it's very solid. I think it's a great game. It's a good game. It's just the content's lacking. That's it. Like, people giving this game like 5s and no. This game is far from a 5. Like I said, I think it's like a solid 8.5. It's just lacking the content. Like the server side issue aside, it's just lacking content. That's it. Like, there needs to be,
for me,
they should have integrated customization of some sort. Like, yeah, you can change the paint job on your car, but that's it. Like, I'm not saying you have to go as deep as Forza and Gran Turismo, but something.
I personally...
It just feels like you look at Driveclub, and you look at all these other games, like Gran Turismo and Forza, it just looks like an extremely low-budget racing game, but then you see the graphics, you're like, holy crap, it's kind of weird. It's like, you could see where their money went. Their money went into the driving mechanics, the making the cars look great, the graphics, the environment. But then,
forgive us for our lack of commentary on Driveclub. Neither of us have played it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. People understand. We've had episodes of this podcast where, some people will talk the entire time with barely a word from some people, and vice versa. Like I remember. There have been episodes where Nick and Anthony just go off on cars, and I'm just like, well, time to play Madden while they talk.
We're not car people or racing game
But this
people.
is like Driveclub, and I couldn't even talk, and already you guys were on Destiny. I'm like, guys, I didn't even say anything.
I mean,
but
it's like,
it's just, if I was in charge of Driveclub, here's the thing. I would be like, okay, we're making really good progress, all this stuff, the weather looks great, add in the photo mode soon. The gameplay is awesome. It looks amazing. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter how good the game plays and drives if someone's played the game for 3 days and there's nothing left to do. Like, it just lacks... It's... I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's just not a full blown out game. It's not. It's lacking a ton of content. It's
sparse in activities was what I described it.
Yeah, that describes it. It's very sparse. Like,
I personally... the way I looked at it was that while it was sparse on activities, I thought of, yes, they spent a lot of money on the graphics, yes, they spent a lot of money on the audio, but I also felt like they kind of spent a lot of their time and money on polishing, because it wasn't like this game had a single glaring feature until the servers went down. I didn't feel like it had any...
Sorry to cut you off. I played this game at E3, not 2014, this past year, at 2013, and I was disappointed. First of all, the game didn't look that good at all. And second of all, it didn't play that well either. I was like, this game's going to be a failure. So they announced they delayed it. I got some hope. They started showing the videos. I was like, holy shit, this game looks awesome. I played at E3. I was sold.
For me, I played it.
It's like I said, it's just lacking a ton of content. Like a ton of content.
Hey, you want to know what? You want to know what racing game this year isn't lacking in any way at all? Mario Kart.
Forza Horizon 2 isn't lacking either.
Yeah, those games are pretty
Forza
great.
Horizon 2 is well worth the $60. Like I said, if you have an Xbox One, I mean, if you're not in the racing games, I'm not saying Forza Horizon 2 is gonna turn you into a car lover, but
I would say that
if you are in any way not opposed to racing cars, Forza Horizon 2 is amazing. Like that game's like a solid 9 to me. It's so good.
I know people who bought Wii U's for Mario Kart. I'm very much in that camp for like this is one of the system sellers for that system. It is.
I want a Wii U just so I can have Mario Kart. Just saying.
Same here. I'm not a big fan of the Wii U and its games, but if there was one game to sell me the Wii U, it'd be Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart is just that game that you can never get enough of Mario Kart. And whenever you have someone over, you're like, do you want to play Mario Kart?
I'm excited for Mario Party.
Oh, Mario Party back on the GameCube. Oh, man.
Mario Party 7.
Mario Party, if you want otherwise known as Do You Want to Ruin Our Friendship?
Exactly.
Yes.
I used to play... Oh, Mario Party was the game.
If anything, like Mario Party just solidified Bronson's ever-increasing hate of Yoshi, because I play as Yoshi in those party Mario games, like those party games. If there's Yoshi, that's what I usually go to, and I usually beat Bronson. So, yeah.
Mario Party
Yoshi every time.
It was like a revolution in like board games, like Mario Party.
Yoshi can go jump off a cliff. You want to know what Yoshis are good for? Using them to get higher and then dropping them into a pit. That's what Yoshi's good for.
Yeah, well, in this case, so basically a Yoshi that belongs to effectively defeated you in Mario Party consistently. Okay.
You know what?
But I'm excited for a new Mario Party. I want that a lot.
The Wii U has had a really strong year. Donkey Kong was great. Shovel Knight was awesome.
Pikmin 3.
How's the console been going?
Pikmin 3 came out last year, but yeah, Pikmin 3 was a great game. But like this year as a whole has really been the year of the Wii U. Like,
but did the console sales reflect that though?
No, and that's a real fucking shame. That some of the best games of the year, arguably the best games of the year, outside of a few games like Infamous and Transistor. Hello, better?
Yeah, you cut out.
It's a real shame that the system that has probably the best exclusives of the year is selling relatively mediocre. Like, that's a real shame. Because it has a lot of great games on it. Bayonetta isn't out yet, but all the Japanese outlets are giving it 9s and 10s, and Donkey Kong was awesome, and so was Mario Kart, and Hyrule Warrior is probably the best that Dynasty Warriors is ever going to get.
I was about to say, I've only heard good things about it.
So, I mean, it scored the same score as Destiny got, but wasn't nearly as disappointing.
True.
Didn't have the hype of Destiny, though.
No, it didn't. Which, so, I mean...
See, that's the thing. It's like all these great games, but like here's the thing. Like with the Wii U, I think the final blow is if the console sales do not pick up after Smash Brothers and Zelda, I just think Nintendo's either gonna have to go to the drawing board and start focusing on their next It's pretty much going to be the next GameCube at that point. If it cannot revitalize sales with Smash Brothers and Zelda, which are two of the biggest Nintendo franchises of all time, then it's pretty safe to say that the Wii U is not going to have some remarkable comeback.
I mean,
because at that point, it's like, what else could Nintendo do? I mean, the only thing they could do from that point is drop in the console down to
realistically speaking,
$150.
a comeback is not going to happen. Because you think about it, because
Nintendo doesn't give a shit about winning. Nintendo cares about making money, and that's why the GameCube wasn't a failure to them. GameCube made a shit ton of money and kept the Nintendo fan base around.
I still have my GameCube.
I have
not to mention, like, the GameCube is like one of the the GameCube is like one of those game systems where it just kind of like inspires loyalty, if that's the correct word. Like you say, it's like, is there like, I don't know that many people who say, yes, I absolutely love my Wii with an undying passion, and I am a very proud owner of my Wii. If anything, I hear way more. Lots of people talk about that, about their N64s and GameCubes, but not as much with the Wii.
I mean, I think the Wii U is in that camp though, because I mean, the Wii U. Every time that I talk to someone who says, "Oh yeah, the Wii U has a bunch of great games," and it does. Like right now, I think by like midway through next year, this won't be the case because Batman will be out and Metal Gear will be out, and there's
Order
a good chance.
1886, Bloodborne.
Yeah, there's a good chance that Final Fantasy will be out too. Like a bunch of really, there's Final Fantasy Road Trip. God, the trailer was awesome. But there's a good chance that all those great games will be out. But like as of right now, and probably by the end of the year, I think the Wii U has the best lineup of exclusives. You have like there's that Mario game that came out last year. Pikmin's great. Donkey Kong's fantastic. Mario Kart, Smash, Bayonetta. The Wonderful 101's a great game. Shovel Knight is it's the best system to play Shovel Knight. So I mean, there's a lot of really great games for that system. It's just it's very much like Nintendo's image combined with the fact that you factor in price. In all honesty, it's a $250 system, not a $300 system, because they don't even offer that system by itself. All versions of it come with a game, and a really damn good game at that. So I'm not as inclined to say that it's $300, but I don't know. I know Anthony and I have Wii U's. Tori, you said it was probably going to be your first system out of the new ones.
Yep.
So
I want a Wii U first. I really do.
So, I mean,
nothing against PS4 or Xbox One. I mean, they both have some pretty good games out, and they both are really, really pretty on the graphics-wise. But I just really, really like Mario games.
So have you seen on Tumblr all the hype I've been giving Bayonetta 2?
Of course I've seen on Tumblr all the hype you've been giving Bayonetta 2. Come on, let's be real.
That game looks so... Oh, man. The game is...
It'll probably be really good.
It's out in Japan, and reviews from Japanese outlets are coming out, and it's like all 9s and 10s. But
is the Wii U region locked?
Yes it is.
So you could import it if you wanted it.
If I wanted it 16 days early, at this point, at this point, it wouldn't be worth paying the $25 to get it from Japan to here.
More than that, bro.
Oh, I'm talking about probably more than that. But, I actually considered buying a Japanese 360 at one point.
Why?
Because they get a bunch of shmups over there we don't get, and the 360 is region locked, and also because I could double up on achievements for a bunch of games. So that's why. But I decided against it because I didn't want to play those shmups that badly.
Good call.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would have been interesting to say, "Hey, I own a Japanese 360."
Ooh, so cool, and
I can play
that makes you more of a hipster. Just saying.
Yeah, it's like I buy the most hipster. Every time people talk about hipsters, I always get to this topic of like the iPhone, because everyone's like, hipsters use Apple products. I'm like, I'm sorry, but the iPhone is so common now that you are not a hipster if you use an iPhone. If you want to be a hipster, get a Windows phone. Nobody uses those.
Yeah. Hipsters do not use iPhones. Hipsters avoid anything that deals with the mainstream, and
iPhone is like the
most mainstream for hipster is not avoiding the mainstream.
I love how this went from a discussion that happened at a nightclub 2 weeks ago with none of the people who are in this podcast right now to infecting this podcast. Great. This was literally a discussion when I went to a nightclub with a couple of friends 2 weeks ago.
You were the one who brought me into it to use me to finish your freaking... thing.
Yeah, well, because I said, well, I don't think I'm a hipster, but apparently I am, and I'm like, well, let's get Tori's consensus on this, and according to you, all four of us are hipsters.
Oh, yeah. Hardcore, man.
I mean,
Stephanie
no.
too.
Like for me, I'm kind of a
I'm
little
curious,
aware
Tori,
that
what's your definition of a hipster?
How am I a hipster?
You're a hipster.
That's what I know.
You like to pretend.
What's your definition of a hipster?
Stephanie had the exact same reaction I did when they called me at the nightclub. So continue. Go ahead.
What's your definition of a hipster, Tori? I'm curious.
Hold on, I have to go find it. I typed it out to Bronson a while back.
Okay.
Here's the thing, this is kind of important because we don't want to be mislabeling people. We don't want to be mislabeling people, but for me, I just have oddball tastes. They're just weird. It's like everyone in America is like, okay, we're gonna buy an SUV. It's got more space, and I'm like the only guy, maybe
Hipsters follow counterculture, progressive politics, and they appreciate art and indie rock or indie-related things. They like creativity and intelligence and witty banter.
You literally pulled that off Urban Dictionary.
Yes, I did.
Because
you didn't type
that, but
because Kevin and I were having a discussion about it yesterday, and we're pulling it off of Urban Dictionary. So, way to be.
Yes,
the problem with Urban
Dictionary.
The problem with Urban Dictionary, I noticed, is that if you look at the likes-dislike counter, sometimes it's really polarized, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the wiki of slang definitions,
it's
and I don't know.
It's so funny to look up your name on Urban Dictionary.
Oh, yeah. My name has a lot of good things.
My name has some interesting ones.
Mine is actually okay, and some of it's a little scary. Some of it would say, Anthony is a sincere person who's reliable and dependable, and I'm like, sweet. And then I think I read one that says, Anthony is the name of some pimp, and I'm like, what?
That is true. I would say, would everyone agree here? Anthony is indeed a pimp.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Whoa.
There is a definition for my name on Urban Dictionary that literally says that it's a woman with a miniature dinosaur that lives in her belly.
What is that supposed to even mean?
I have no idea.
I want to talk about, as long as we're talking about new releases that came out in the past week or so, has anyone been playing the living crap out of Smash Brothers like I have since I got it in the mail 2 days ago?
I played some of it.
I think I've unlocked 4 or 5 out of this 8.
On those small screens, how's it going on those small screens?
So, 1v1 is fine. 1v1, even on a regular 3DS, is fun.
Do you think that an XL could handle 4v4?
Not really. I played a 4-player match at E3 on an XL, and I'm like, this is too small. I just feel like 3 is the biggest you can go on a handheld like this. I think you might be able to do a 4 on the Vita. Might.
See, for me, I can do 4 on a screen just fine, and I play on a regular 3DS. The catch is you're probably holding it a little close to your face so you can see everything.
Well, yeah.
But other than that,
to do that, I feel.
To be honest, I play with 4 people on 4 characters on the screen all the time, and I'm like, I don't really see a problem. Granted, they're maybe they're kind of like little specks in the low DPI screens that the 3DS has, but I didn't see that much of a problem.
For me, I'll play 4-player matches, especially on bigger maps, and I just can't keep track of my dude. I
tend to forget which person's me.
So that's gonna be so much better.
Especially if you're changing characters every 5 minutes. It's like, oh, am I Bowser this time? No, I'm somebody else. Whoops.
I've been playing, as far as new characters goes, the small screen is a problem. It's not nearly as big as I thought it would be. I still wish I was playing this on a television or the Vita instead.
Well, just wait until the Wii U one comes out.
Yeah. Which we might as well talk about that. That has a release date, November 21st.
I know, it's the same day as Pokemon for 3DS.
which I'm getting Smash. I'm probably gonna skip Pokemon.
I'm gonna get the Pokemon probably.
I'm getting Pokemon.
I just
Steph, Courtney, our roommate, and I are getting Pokemon.
Anthony are probably getting Smash. Which, hey, when you come into town for Thanksgiving, Smash will be there.
I won't be in town for Thanksgiving this year.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have a job in retail.
I feel so bad for you.
I have a job in retail and smack dab in the middle of San Francisco.
Oh, your life sucks.
In the mall.
I worked retail for almost three.
No, I like Nick's reaction. Oh, your life sucks.
No, I guarantee she agree with me because I worked retail for almost 3 years. And it absolutely sucks when the fucking holiday season comes around. Because you not only you're working Black Friday, you're working Christmas Eve, you're working the day after Christmas.
No, I'm just working Black Friday, man.
Oh, what retail are you working at?
Well, I mean, I have to go home because I live in a dorm room.
They kick you out.
Okay, so your retail experience, I guess, isn't terrible. Because I used to work at Best Buy.
And what's even better is they'll give me my job back after I come back from holiday season because they hired me on as permanent staff.
Okay, so see, you got a good situation going on.
I know, I'm really lucky.
Yeah, however, I worked at Best Buy for almost 3 years. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're working 10 hours on Black Friday, and then you're working the next day, and then you're working the day after that. And when Christmas time comes, yes, we're closed on Christmas, but guess what? You might be working Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas as well. And guess what? During the holiday season, you can't travel at all, or you lose your job. So yeah,
I like thinking of like each holiday season in retail as a war. Like I served in GameStop 2012.
Hell yeah.
That's why I am so happy to have a job where, hey, I'm going home for Christmas and I'm leaving on the 19th. And I'm not coming back to the 4th or 5th, and it's not a problem at all.
See, they hired me on as permanent staff before they realized I live in the dorms.
So see, you got lucky, pretty much.
Yep.
What happened there? You got lucky.
I went in for my first day, and I'm like, so you guys know, I live in the dorms, so I have to leave, like, in December. There's no way I can stay. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's okay, because people transfer in for Christmas break. And so we can just transfer you back over after the holidays are over. And I'm like, okay, cool.
See, so my retail experience...
What store are you working at?
American Eagle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to be busy, but you're not going to be dealing with people tackling each other for TVs and stuff.
No, man.
Trust
it's
me,
a blood sport.
It's a blood sport. I worked 3 Black Fridays, and name it, and I've seen it. I've seen people I saw, no joke, the last Black Friday I worked, I will never forget it. 32-inch Dynex TVs, okay? These piece of crap TVs. Weeks before Black Friday, they were $199. I was telling people, hey, on Black Friday,
buy your TV.
I was like, these are going to be $199. They're like, nah, I'll just wait till Black Friday.
Why?
Same motherfuckers come, because they don't believe me. They think they're going to be cheaper. Same motherfuckers come in Black Friday and they're tackling each other for the damn TV. And I'm like, you motherfuckers bought this TV $199 a couple weeks ago and walked out of the store and been okay. But no, so anyways, this old lady, I'm talking about, she was probably in her late 70s, early 80s. These 32-inch Dynexes, everyone just busts to the store. Now, we're not as bad as Walmart, where Walmart, they just open the door and everyone runs in. Like, Best Buy, at least they limited how many people could come in at one time. But anyway, the 32-inch Dynex is at $199, which once again, were that price for a couple weeks before Black Friday. For some reason, there was a big item. So we all have them set up on this little podium, and you guys have seen how Best Buy's laid out.
Yeah.
A pile of 32-inch TVs. The store's been open for about 20 seconds, and there's a dog pile on the TVs. And all you see is this old lady knocked onto the ground. Keep in mind, this old lady was walking with a cane, knocked down, and we were about to call 911 because we thought she might have died. It was the scariest thing. But Yeah, American Eagle, yeah, you'll be busy. A lot of people will be shopping there, but...
They'll be like, hey, buy me some... I want to get some pants. And I'll be like, okay, here's the kind of pants we have.
Yeah, but no, at Best Buy, it's
Because
like...
their thing is pants, I guess.
No, what cracked me up at Best Buy is, like the doorbuster deals that people, like, cook their turkey in the parking lot so they can get it, or like those deals.
That's the thing.
What cracked me up is, like, I worked one Black Friday... No, I worked 2 Black Fridays, which were the very early morning shift, and then I worked another Black Friday that was the like noon to very late evening shift. And the one time I worked that shift, I can't even tell you how many guys who seriously came into the store asking for the doorbuster deals and honestly thought we had them. Like they seriously walk in and be like, "Yeah, we want to get this," and I'm like, "We don't have them," and they get so pissed.
It's like, bro, you come in here late to the ball game.
I was like, to be honest with you could have been here 3 hours with the store open and you wouldn't have gotten it. People were literally roasting their turkeys in the parking lot to get that. So
this is the thing about...
You guys know those are going to be in high supply. Why don't you guys order them? I'm like, look, I don't manage the supply and order...
We don't order stocks, bro. We just get what we get and we put it out, and when it runs out, it runs out.
All I'm doing is selling you stuff. I don't manage the stock. Second of all, the companies are the ones who allocate how many units go to each store. So you can talk to the companies about that. And third of all, that's the whole point behind a doorbuster deal. It's called a doorbuster deal for a reason. So, but yeah, people get so pissed and to crack me up because these people would come in seriously.
How do you keep a straight face?
Yeah,
seriously.
and I'm not talking about like people that are like, oh, you don't have any more of these, do you? No, I'm seriously. They straight walk in and like, yeah, I want to get this, and they'd seriously be dead serious. In my mind, I'm like, you're not.
You're not gonna get that.
You're joking, right? Like the only way you would have got that is if you were out here freaking 48 hours before the store opened. So, yeah. But anyways, ever since I was out of the retail business, which I must say that ever since I left retail, I've been a much happier person. But anyways. Since then, I don't go out for Black Friday. I just do. Let me put it this way.
Cyber Monday, man.
Oh, Cyber Monday, I don't seem to find anything. But what I do is I'd say 95% of the Black Friday deals you can get online. So I just stay up till midnight. Yeah. I stay up till midnight and order from BestBuy.com, Target.com, Walmart.com, Amazon.com. Plus, here's the nice thing: like if you want to get stuff from Best Buy and then Target and then Walmart. You have to go there, you have to wait in line for an hour, then you have to drive to Target, get it, wait in line for a few hours. I open all these websites up on tabs, I refresh as soon as they go up, I order it, and I'm done. That quick.
Game over.
I always do my Black Friday shopping online. Screw that going to the store crap. Like, I'm not about to get killed over saving freaking a few dollars. Like, get out of here. But
I just think that the obsession,
the Black Friday ads should start leaking out sometime soon.
I'm starting to think the obsession with the saving money and the fact that we talk about early Christmas, it's gotten to the point where Thanksgiving is slowly becoming, sorry guys, we gotta skip the dinner, I gotta save money on my next television.
Alright guys, we are back. Sorry about the quick technical difficulty we had, but yeah, we talked enough about...
Yes, it's only a brief, momentary technical difficulty. It's not like I had to go out and install the Skype recorder software just so we can continue, because our server is totally reliable.
Yeah. Yeah, so moving along from Black Friday talk onto a news story that's actually a bit disturbing. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's regarding the upcoming Assassin's Creed. So, we all know the PlayStation 4 is technically more powerful than Xbox One, and we've seen a lot with multi-platform games. The games come out to look better and run better on the PlayStation 4, so the Call of Duty Ghosts, the definitive edition of Tomb Raider, just most multi-platform games run better and look better on the PlayStation 4. Well, Ubisoft, with Assassin's Creed Unity, has come out and said that they are locking the PlayStation 4 version to match the specs of the Xbox One version to avoid debates and stuff. That's from them. To avoid debates and stuff. So what they're saying...
I like how they have the "and stuff" in there.
So what they're saying is that, okay, the Xbox One can only support 900p at 30 frames per second, which is fine. The PlayStation 4 could probably support 1080p, 30 frames per second, without a problem, maybe even 60 frames per second. But in order to avoid any debates and stuff, we are going to lower the quality of the PlayStation 4 version to, once again, avoid debates and stuff. I find this to be extremely disturbing from Ubisoft. And it's not the fact that I prefer the PlayStation 4 over Xbox One. If the tables were reversed and they were downscaling the Xbox One version for the PlayStation 4, I'd be very perturbed as well. This is unbelievable. Like, you're telling me that because Sony worked hard and the PlayStation 4 has better hardware, you're going to take this game and literally lock it.
Ubisoft is a third-party publisher, right?
To keep it running from its best, this one sounds to me. To me, it sounds like I don't think none of us have kids. At least I don't think any of us do.
No.
That's like having a kid and put them into sports and telling them, look, son or look, daughter, this other team isn't as good, so take it easy. Like, no, you aren't going to tell your kid that. You're going to tell them to still play the best and do the best they can do. It's like Ubisoft. Like, if you're literally going to decrease the visual fidelity of the game, how about you charge less for the game then? Like, you're seriously going to lock it because the Xbox One can't run it as high of a resolution? Like, that's ridiculous. Completely asinine. Completely ridiculous, mediocre, whatever word you want to tie to it. It's the biggest load of shit ever. Like, it frustrates me. Because if something like this flies, like, I just really hope that no other companies adopt this. It's just stupid. It's like with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The very beginning, plenty of games ran better on the Xbox 360, even though the PlayStation 3 was more powerful. Or go back to the days when the first Xbox came out. The Xbox was a lot more powerful than PlayStation 2, and you could see that. Back then, they weren't reducing the Xbox games, because we have to match that of the PlayStation 2. Like, that's stupid. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Now, there's been a lot of, obviously, criticism over this, as there should be, because it's completely stupid. And pretty much Ubisoft just come out and said that, well, things can change leading to launch. So I am hoping that a hammer was bashed across the head of whoever came up with this decision and be like, what was I thinking? PlayStation 4 version will run at the resolution and frame rate that it can. This is just the epitome of stupid. Like, you're seriously going to restrict a game and lower the resolution that it can run at because the other platform cannot run at that resolution? Like, come on. Like, ridiculous.
For me, this makes no sense because I'm, like, asking myself, what has Ubisoft got to lose? If the PS4 ran at its native 1080p resolution at 30 frames and the Xbox ran at 900, like, Square Enix kind of did it with Final Fantasy 13. Like, the PS3 version was the actual version of 13, whereas the Xbox 360, well, aside from the fact that it came on across 3 different discs, it had YouTube compression cutscenes, and everything just kind of looked slightly worse, but it was still the same game. In the case of Assassin's Creed, it's like, if they just went the normal route of having the PS4 run properly, isn't that supposed to help them? But by limiting it, it's going to hurt them? I don't understand the logic here. Like,
the logic is it's seriously dumb. Like, the only thing I could think
to
of...
avoid debate. I'm sorry, there's always going to be a debate anyways. Like, regardless of what you do.
Here's the thing, you can't please anybody. You can't please everybody. I don't care what you do. There is no way you can please everybody. But you're seriously going to restrict and lower the quality of a game because the Xbox One cannot support that resolution and frame rate.
I do believe, like, you said debates and stuff, right?
Yeah, debates and stuff.
Even if you did that, it's still not going to stop any debates.
Well, and even if all those debates, it's not going to hurt sales. It's not. It's not going to hurt sales whatsoever. Oh, the PlayStation 4 version looks better than the Xbox One version. Well, guess what? That's the case with most multi-platform games. You don't see it hurting the sales of the games. Why? To avoid debates and stuff. Like, get the hell out of here.
Honestly, I think
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure somebody at this point has kind of thought in the back of their heads, does Ubisoft have stock in Microsoft or something like that?
Well, that's the thing I was about to say. The only thing that makes sense, and it makes sense, but it's corrupt, is if Microsoft's involved with this, which would not surprise me. Microsoft has been, and I'm sure Sony does stuff behind the scenes too, that just maybe they don't get caught. Microsoft has been known to bribe companies with money, just like they did with where they were paying machinima YouTubers to promote their Xbox One and stuff like that, and they weren't public about it. All that nonsense. One thing I can think of is if they sent Ubisoft a check saying, "Look, hey, we'll send you Assassin's Creed, your guys' games. We need to make sure that it looks the same on our platform as the PlayStation 4, and here's some money to make that happen." That's the only thing I think of. Because there's no way ever that anyone would ever lower the quality of the game purposely. That makes no sense. It literally makes no sense whatsoever. That's probably the dumbest thing I've heard in the game industry in a long time. Super long time. I want to know who came up with this decision. Who came up with this decision?
Again, if their reason is to avoid debate and stuff, that's not even a professional way of saying it. I'm just that just sounds like some half-hearted attempt to say, yeah, we just did it. We just did it. I'm sorry. Deal with it. Goodbye. Y'all get to enjoy the game in a month.
I don't.
Stay away.
That whole to avoid debates and stuff, that doesn't make sense. It just literally doesn't. Since when does a debate over which? Here's the thing. Yeah, a lot of these outlets, they come out with PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One comparisons. But since when does that ever hurt these game sales? Why does it even matter to them? Why do they freaking care? That makes no sense. Just like with PC. If someone has a souped-up rig PC, they should not be limited in the PC game for consoles. Now, here's where this is a little bit different, though, with the PC. With the PC, the code, to really take advantage of the PC hardware, there's some different optimization they need to do. Because on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, they can optimize for the specific hardware. So really getting the power out of a PC is more difficult. However, most PC games do look better than PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Why? Because of the better hardware. So, are you telling me that Ubisoft is their PC version going to be lowered to that of the Xbox One? I guarantee you not. I guarantee you the PC version of Assassin's Creed Unity could probably run over 1080p 60 frames per second.
But they will restrict it because they will probably restrict it because I think I heard the story about Watch Dogs containing intentional code to limit performance or something.
Okay,
I think I heard a story like that where they intentionally make the game run worse on computers.
If that's true, Ubisoft just needs to clear out whoever's making these decisions.
It's like I want restricted performance. Yes, make that a company.
Who the fuck is this?
Some guy sits at his desk and it's like, I want restriction.
This makes no fucking sense at all.
It's like a person who sits at the Ferrari chair and it's like, I want less horsepower. What? I want less horsepower to be on level with our
competitor. Come on. This is the dumbest shit. Oh, I'm so outraged at this because it's I can't even believe this. It just makes no sense at all.
The only logical thing the only thing that even makes an ounce of sense is we want the game to be perfectly equal across all platforms. And I'm like,
that's stupid.
maybe, but
Here's the
if
thing.
it runs better on the PS4, just let it run better on the PS4. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
you're a third-party developer. You're not really losing anything. You know, it's going to go to both systems, and those who have an Xbox One will buy the Xbox One version, and those who have the PS4 version, who have a PS4 will get the PS4. It's like what I did with Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, I had to buy the lesser version of Final Fantasy 13 because I didn't have a PS3, but you know what? Aside from the fact the game looks slightly worse and everything's in YouTube compression for its cutscenes, I didn't really mind too much.
Yeah, and that's going from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. This is a PlayStation 4 to Xbox One, which, yeah, there's a difference, but nothing monumental. But still, the fact that they are purposely, like, here's the thing. If it was a case where, yeah, they could have gotten better graphics out of the PlayStation 4 version, but it required extra work and time, I understand that. That's completely fine. But for you to purposely know that it can reach this point and for you to put a line of code in there to prevent it, get the hell out of here. Absolutely ridiculous. Something like that, I know it's not going to happen, but I hope that game will become a huge fucking failure because of that. It's just completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
900... The thing that's kind of confusing me right now, it's like, if you're going to make every system run the same, why pick 900p of all resolutions? It's like...
Because that's the max resolution they can run on the Xbox One.
Okay, well then they probably need to figure out their graphics engine a bit, because the thing that's kind of confusing me right now, it's like, you got a lot of games that are running native 1080p just fine. Frickin'... I'm playing high...
yeah, like that's one thing, is they do need to optimize, but on the other end, I just don't think they care enough, because the average consumer... First off, Assassin's Creed is one of those games that it's popular enough to where a lot of people who play it aren't hardcore gamers, so they don't really notice the difference between 900 and 1080.
Whether you notice the difference or not...
Actually, I do know there is a difference between 900 and 1080p. That's a lot of pixels still. Because
yeah,
I know this because I went from 1600 by 900 to 1080p, and there's a difference.
But still, the thing is, whether or not you notice it or not, it's the fact that they are purposely lowering the quality of the game. If you're gonna lower the quality of the game, fucking lower the price of the fucking game. Like, seriously. But you're not gonna see them do that. Of course not. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I am. It's pretty easy to think maybe somebody has some interest somewhere that's causing them to say, yeah, PS4 runs the same as
probably
Xbox.
Something where Microsoft has this undisclosed deal with them. That's the only thing that makes sense.
It steals souls out of dead people.
But even then, that's a...
Whoa, what is... Sorry, I heard steal souls out of dead people.
Tori just heard Pokemon thing. She asked me what Pokemon to do, and I said Chandelure earlier, and she said, okay, but what should it say? And Chandelure steals souls.
that was
but you know what? We were talking about Microsoft, and it was like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they steal souls from dead people.
Yeah, it was perfectly placed.
Alright.
Stop did it either.
Perfectly placed, but my closing statement with this is just the fact that, like I said, there has to be some undisclosed deal, which doesn't even make sense because Ubisoft technically has been having a stronger relationship with PlayStation this generation. Watch Dogs had exclusive content. The Assassin's Creed bundles they've had with the Vita. Like, Ubisoft has had a strong relationship with PlayStation. I don't know. Maybe this is the first step at Microsoft getting Ubisoft back. Like, it's stupid.
As long as we're
ridiculous.
As long as we're talking about Microsoft, the Brazil game show has happened, and they announced a special Master Chief Collection white Xbox One bundle. So it is pretty much the same as the Sunset Overdrive bundle. So you get a white system, the game, no Kinect, $400. Well, it's not coming to America, so that's one thing. Sad faces all around.
What?
Not coming to the States.
Hey guys, we got a bundle of our most popular game that's made in America and it's not for America.
Yeah.
Got it, guys.
Seriously, like, what the fuck? Like, who makes these decisions?
I'm sorry, like
these executives
Bronson and I, we were talking
dollars, if not millions of dollars, and the decisions they make are so fucking
Bronson and I were
stupid.
sitting talking while I was playing Hyrule Warriors for 6 minutes. Bronson and I, we were talking about how Europe gets better collector's editions, and we're just like, what the hell?
Europe always gets the best console bundles, always.
And I'm just like, I'm just confused right now. Like, what is it with, like, boneheaded decisions?
No, like, I want to know who, like, okay, I get that Microsoft has the Sunset Overdrive bundle coming out, like, 2 weeks before this game comes out. I get that. I understand. Also, who is playing Diablo? Because it sounds like they're clicking their mouse very hard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing Hyrule Warriors and I'm mashing the button to
Same
attack.
Difference. So
sorry. We're on Skype, so that makes it a little more difficult.
That's pretty much what it sounds like when I play Diablo. Just click, 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 over and over. Click all the things. You know, I actually broke a mouse playing Diablo 2. So anyway, yeah, like I wonder who said, okay, our most popular franchise is Halo. We have the first 4 main series Halo games, all in 1080p, all 60 frames, with what is arguably the most popular entry in the series getting a complete remake. Let's not bring that bundle to America, which is our biggest market. Yeah.
I mean, I understand you're trying to sell it in other markets to entice people into the Xbox One, but come on, like honestly, if I had enough money for an Xbox One, that bundle would make me think, you know what? I would think about it if I had the money.
There was someone here who took them out. I forgot to put them back in. Whoops.
Okay.
Sorry, we're talking about Stephanie's homework.
Okay then. But yeah, this was just a fucking horrible train wreck of a decision, and it pairs along with the rest of Microsoft's bad decisions. And there are so many goddamn Xbox One bundles. Why couldn't this be a thing in America? Really? Like
if you think like what sells an Xbox One? Halo, right?
Halo! Like, Halo sells fucking Xboxes!
Halo is the only reason why we had an Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I'm going on the record to say that. I think that if Halo would have never happened, the Xbox would have been a failure, and we would have never seen an Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
It wouldn't have had a game to anchor itself to. Like, that first year for them was really rough. Then they got the best version of Splinter Cell, and they had a bunch of exclusives, but that first year, 2001 to late 2002, it was all Halo. And, like, I don't, and everyone who has an Xbox One is buying this game, and I know people who are buying Xbox Ones for this goddamn game. So I'm just, it's so weird that they're deciding, Brazil and select countries. But, whatever. Next news story I have is kind of a small one. Who here likes dive kick?
Yay!
Woo! That's the best response I've ever gotten on this show. That's the best response I think I've ever gotten to anything. Yeah! It's like grunt birthday.
Such innocent glee.
It's like in Halo when you have grunt birthday party on, you shoot a grunt in the head. Yay!
Like that's with headshots, right?
Yeah, when you get a headshot on a grunt. But Dive Kick Edition is now available today on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It'll cost $10, and it will also include the Saints Row character, Johnny Gat. It will be coming to the PSC, PS3, and Vita at a later date. For those of you who don't know the studio, Iron Galaxy, they made a name for themselves by working on Capcom's Darkstalkers Resurrection and Street Fighter III Third Strike, and are now the guys developing Killer Instinct Season 2. Dive Kick was probably one of the best games last year, and it was fucking brilliant. And it won our Fighting Game of the Year last year.
As it should have.
Yes, Dive Kick wins everything.
Exactly.
We've actually been playing that at Guys Night with John and Bremen, and John and I think it's the greatest thing ever, and Rowie and Bremen bitch the entire time we play it.
That's beautiful.
Great.
I don't care.
So is anyone going to be getting the next-gen version of Dive Kick with an additional character and some other new stuff?
I don't know. I had fun with the game, but I don't know.
And also, whenever you talk about that game, it's so hard to say just Dive Kick. Like, you want to go...
Dive Kick!
Articulation. Oh my god.
Dive Kick! Right.
At E3 2013, they just had like Dive Kick competitions going on at the PlayStation booth. It was so cool.
The game is... it is all the... it has all the great parts of fighting games. Those tense, close matches, the mind games, just a lot of what makes those games great, but it also makes it so it gets rid of the biggest hurdle for fighting games, and that's, they're hard to learn. If you have not played Dive Kick, you should definitely go get on that shit. So, on to questions. We all good with that?
Yep.
Sounds good.
So, Tori and Stephanie, I'm not sure if you've ever listened to Unscripted Access, but then the show, we take questions and comments from the previous episode.
Okay.
All right. So, Cray T says, I'm officially done with Destiny. Nothing left to do, and everything they update the game with is the same crap. Nick was right. He's worries about the game. Not even sure if I'll give the DLC a shot. Thoughts? We kind of went over this earlier, so I guess we'll just go over it lightly here. Yeah, it's one of the bigger disappointments of the year. I don't by no means think it's a bad game, but it's definitely I would be surprised if it makes the top 10 overall games of the year when we make that list at the end of the year. I
don't think it should go on there, personally.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, I still had a lot of fun with it. It probably is still in my top 10, just at the top portion of it. I mean, Destiny was a game that I thought could have even made my game of the year, and it was such a disappointment.
Like, I remember when I made my top 10 list, it was in my top 10.
And especially the fact now that you see that their upcoming expansion pack, the DLC is actually on the disc, that just upsets me even more.
Yeah, that game is just, I think that it's going to be one of those games that when we look back on it, the pieces just don't, there are games that are what I like to call more than the sum of their parts. Like, when you deconstruct Dive Kick, it sounds like the stupidest thing ever made, but it comes together to make a goddamn masterpiece. Destiny is the opposite of that. When you separate all of Destiny's separate pieces, you say that the only thing you say that game sounds awesome, but then you play it and it doesn't live up to that. Like that is
Destiny just has this sense of blandness, which that's like kind of one of the things that just kind of makes me not feel for any game is when you have blandness, and Destiny just really has the blandness. Yeah, it looks good. But it's not like this art style is like completely blowing my mind to pieces.
The music, there are a couple of parts about that game that did really stand out to me. The competitive multiplayer was probably the second best of the year for me, behind Titanfall. And the music was great. I could listen to that game soundtrack all day long.
That soundtrack literally could find itself into a Hollywood film.
Yeah,
like that literally, like that, I mean, it's not like what you would find from a Japanese game where the music is very prevalent and has a very recognizable flowing melody and all that kind of stuff. No, this is just something that works perfectly in a background, and you literally could use the soundtrack in a film.
Yeah, like the soundtrack, Marty O'Donnell is...
Yes, who doesn't work at Bungie anymore.
This was his last game. Like, that dude made that iconic Halo sound. Like, I mean, when certain themes play, like, you go, oh, that's Halo. And he did very much the same thing with Destiny. Like, Destiny has some really great tracks. It would have been right at home in a movie. That's one of the nice things I can say about that game is the soundtrack is fucking perfect. But like I said, there's just so many different parts of that don't work. And like it's like, okay, well, how is it as a competitive multiplayer shooter? Titanfall's kind of better. How is it as a co-op shooter? Well, if Borderlands probably does that better. How's it
a lot better?
how is it as an MMO? Like Warcraft is 10 years old, and
man, like
Warcraft is 10 fucking years old, and it is a better MMO.
From MMO pieces, yeah, I just kind of feel like the MMO pieces that they put in just wasn't very well planned out. Like, I just hit level 20 and I just don't feel any incentive to keep going. Because it's like, welcome to the massive grind fest to your first raid at level 26. Good luck. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. It's like, you're asking me to keep shooting my way to level 26, which I'm not doing. And like other things are
shooting the same enemies, walking through the same environments, doing the exact same thing.
Welcome back
to be fair, that is an MMO a lot of the time, but
yeah, but the problem with
because
Destiny,
of Bungie's pacing, like it's a shooter, so it doesn't have that like rhythmic
MMOs,
grind.
like MMOs in a traditional MMO, like say Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft. Yeah, you're basically doing the same thing every single day, much like how you go to work every single day. But it's kind of like that routine that kind of has like many different levels to it, where okay, you got to do this, you got to do this, and this, and this boss has to be done in this way. It's kind of like a checklist, but it's a pretty deep checklist. Whereas in Destiny, it's kind of has, because it's a shooter, it kind of has that thing where I always get tired of in shooters, which is you're at point A, get to point B, here's a gun, shoot all the bad guys in the way. Which, that's what Destiny feels like, and they're cool. There are a couple cool bosses, but there just didn't feel like there was much. Like once I was level 20 and quote finished unquote the story, it was just
what story?
Yeah, pretty much. You hit that kind of on the head.
Yeah, like you could tell. How should I put it? The way that story was written is that it started alright. It's like, okay, so you've got some really vague names here. You've got the Traveler. The darkness has chased the Traveler through the land of Fantasyland, only this is not Fantasyland, it's Earth.
Don't get me started on the darkness, like, seriously worst bad guy.
It's like the darkness, and I'm like, man, vagueness runs strong in the blood of Destiny. It's like the Traveler. It just moves around and visits places. It's the Traveler, and then you got the darkness.
What I love is the lore for this game is really interesting, but the only way you will read any of it is by going on their motherfucking website. And that is bad design.
Yes, let's design a game where in order to read about the story, you have to read about it outside of the game.
I'm sorry, this is like designing Mass Effect, where it's like designing Mass Effect is you meet the Council, they didn't bother telling you anything about the background of the Normandy, they don't tell you anything about the background of the Asari or the Eturians, they just simply said, Commander, here's Rex, here's Garrus, here's Ashley, here's Kate Alenko, here's her ship, now go out there and go frickin' rescue Dr. Liara Tassone. Background? Okay, well you need to go to MassEffect.com to read about the Asari, the Turians, and the First Contact War instead of us telling you about it.
Like, I think, like, if you want to find out all about what a Guardian is and all that stuff, you have to go read Grimoire cards on the website. But then I think of World of Warcraft. Like, yes, if you want to get the broader plot and all the plot, you do have to go to, like, read the books or really read quest text and explore the world. But like,
the books is supposed to supplement the universe of the game.
Yeah, like, exactly. Versus, like, World of Warcraft at least gives you the bare minimum of the humans of Stormwind, blank, 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 blank. They're doing this because blank, 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 blank. Go on and go save the world. And then all the quests and books fill in that stuff. Versus Destiny, which is like, fucking, if you want to know anything, go to our website. The darkness, the Traveler.
It's like
you
it's like
the darkness.
As far as
you
bad
have to
guys
fight,
go,
rock and roll.
Like as far as the darkness goes, yeah, just like a bad guy that I didn't get a very good description. It's like, what did the darkness do? It brought a threat.
It's like cop-out bad guy.
It's like, it brought a threat and hurts people, and you need to stop it somehow. That's all I got. Yeah, and then it's like, there's the Hive, and I'm like, okay, so what's the Hive?
So
Is it like, okay, how did the Hive exist? It's like, it came from the darkness, right? Right? I don't know. They're like, this is one mission on Mars where they're like, yo, go to Mars and kill this heart thing in this alternative universe. And I'm like, why? And I'm sitting here and I don't remember why I was actually supposed to kill that heart. Other than it involved a really lengthy boss fight.
So, I'm going to be frank with you. By going through the game, Josh and I have been writing our own story. And that has been wildly more entertaining.
Let me get way better story.
Like we're like, okay, so Circus Prime is really Republio, god of all Republicans, and
there we go.
Yeah, like I bet you if Josh and I were to sit down and like write down an actual plot to Destiny, it'd be way better than what's in the actual game.
I feel like the plot in Destiny was vague to the point where anybody with decent story writing skills could come up with like 100 different stories for it without reading the lore.
I mean, Josh and I were just thinking of random bullshit. So, it's just like, okay, Bronson, where do you work? This call center. Like, okay, well, what do they do? This? Okay, we're making something based around that. Alright, so next question is from Marvelous CJ. Forza or Driveclub, now that both are out, is Driveclub selling well? We have no fucking idea, because it's been a day. I'm sorry to say.
Like, from a reviewer's viewpoint, Driveclub is a good game. Unfortunately, when the game came out to the general public, things were broken.
Yeah.
So
yeah, both are really good games. If you're a racing fan, I recommend you buy both. If I had to pick one over, I do think Forza Horizon 2 is a better game just because there's a lot more content, there's a lot more things to do, it has a lot more substance than Driveclub does. Driveclub doesn't sell, the cars do look better in Driveclub, the environments do look better in Driveclub. As far as which feels better, that's all opinion. But I do think Forza Horizon 2 has more substance to it. It's the overall better game. Yeah, as far as sales, we just don't know. We won't know until, probably honestly, you'll know when it's announced.
Okay, so
here's what I personally think, too, is like, just want to add a little bit, is that while I do like Driveclub, and I think it is a very nicely polished game, it feels like a game that you're going to forget in about 2 years. I mean, it's good.
No,
I
give it a year. It'll be forgotten about.
I say 2 years because as far as PlayStation racing games go, the next big one in the line
Gran
is
Turismo in 2020.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 7 is not going to be out for a long while, so Driveclub is going to have to be like the PlayStation 4's like only significant racing game that isn't speed.
I mean, Gran Turismo 7 coming in 2020, people. Get hype. Yeah.
Time from now.
Yeah. Wait, what, Tori? We couldn't really hear you.
Sorry. That's a long time from now.
Hey, well, yeah. GT5, they had to, like, force that to come out or something.
GT5 took them 5 fucking years.
That's ridiculous stuff.
We did get Gran Turismo HD at launch, though.
And we got Prologue in 2008.
Yeah, the Prologue's a demo.
Prologue was a little more than a demo. It probably had about as much content as Driveclub has. So, take that how you will.
That's interesting.
Like what? Prologue had something like 100 cars and like 15 tracks. So, I don't know. Like, anyway, last question is
I think we'll honestly see Gran Turismo 7. It'll probably come out sometime during 2016 is my guess.
No fucking way. No way.
Oh yeah. I think so.
I'm saying 2017 at the earliest.
No, I'm saying 2016.
I like those, I mean, the only thing that makes me think differently is they're not working on Cell.
That's exactly, yeah. They're developing on a much easier platform.
So
my personal opinion is that Sony probably realized that they were taking too long. It's like, okay, guys, you actually have to put your games out on time now. Okay?
I mean,
and Sony probably needs to send them a memo. It's like, yo, get your priorities straight. Stop doing things like simulating driving on the moon. Nobody really cares about. I'm not joking. Gran Turismo 6, like, there are some features that I read in the press material. They said, B-Spec Racing is coming in the future, and they still don't have it yet, I think. But you can drive on the moon.
Woo!
Yeah. Freaking,
because everyone wanted to do that.
I'm just like, what is the point of this? Like, I mean, if anything, the only purpose that thing showed me was that if you thought driving the Mass Effect Mako was bad in, the first game, the lunar roving vehicle will tell you how much it actually sucks to drive in space. But other than that, there was like absolutely no purpose I could see as to why they needed to simulate moon driving. It's just, dear goodness. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, so next question is from Kyo Tenchi. Was fondly with some old Nintendo Power trading cards I still have, powering through some of the Pro Challenges they give. Before I knew it, 4 hours had passed. Do you think Nintendo should integrate a Steam-like trading card system onto their recent consoles? Yeah, I think Nintendo should do anything like that. Like achievements, a trading card system, something. Like, I know that, I don't even really chase achievements that often anymore, but it's still a nice thing to have for games I really like. For instance, I know that Infamous Second Son, I played that game way, way more because of the trophies.
I would just like to see some type of revolution in achievements and trophies. Like I know it's somewhat new to PlayStation. Like, PlayStation 3 didn't even get trophies until a few years in. But it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like that's something I don't know. I can't put a finger on what they need to do, but they need to do something to actually make them worth a darn.
I used to care about
when PlayStation Home had all the hype behind it, the trophy room was a pretty cool concept.
I remember I used to care a lot about trophies, or achievements more because it was like, especially with something like Oblivion, it was like, dude, you can 100% Oblivion if you do all of this. And I did all of it, and if anything, it made me appreciate the game more, but as time went on, I just kind of cared less and less.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When I earn achievement or trophies, in Driveclub, I'm sure Anthony can attest for this, you get a ton of trophies pretty easily and quick.
Yeah, you get trophies pretty fast early on.
Yeah, but it's cool, but it's just there's no, I know people that will seriously rent games that suck and play them because they're easy trophies, or they will force themselves to go through a game because they want the trophies for it. I'm just like, that just sounds ridiculous to me. If a game sucks, I don't care how easy the trophies are, I'm not playing it. I just don't get it, but I don't know. I just wish they'd come. I just wish they would do something to actually make them have some type of value with them. Do something with them. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's something we'll get in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
The next question he had is, what is our Twitch channel name? I don't think we ever mentioned it. Yeah, okay, so once again, Extra Life. Look up the Gamer Access. We'll be live streaming the entire Extra Life day. Someone from the staff will. Not all of us as a whole, not all of us at once, but someone. So, we'll have 8 a.m. to blank as someone, noon to blank as someone. If things are going the way I think they're going to go, Tori, Stephanie, and I will be manning graveyard shift.
Yep.
So that should be fun. Anyway, so please go look up Extra Life. Go donate to the Gamer Access Extra Life page. It all goes to sick kids. Right now, it's going to the Renowned Children's Hospital in Reno, Nevada. I know we're all going to have individual pages, so if you prefer, like, Nick, I believe you're doing North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, I'm probably doing Duke, yeah.
I know Anthony will probably do Renown, and I might flip myself over to Seattle. So, so if you prefer a certain hospital, you're going to have a lot of options with us. We're going to do a lot of good content. I know we're going to set up a tier list for donations. So the current thing is, like, at $1,000, Anthony and I will live stream all 4 Halo games straight. So that means Anthony and I...
If we reach 1 tier, Bronson will personally deliver 12 roses to you dressed up as Princess Peach.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of money. I'm saying that right now.
Because if the person is not local, travel expenses are going to be astronomically high.
Yeah, like, that is going to have to be, like, $5,000 from one person, and they have to be willing to pay for me to come to their city. So...
Could you imagine that? Like, he flies to some, like, city in, like, Vermont.
Ooh, East Coast travel.
So
what are you going to Vermont for? Well, you see...
Puerto Rico.
I'd rather just not talk about it.
So just go to Puerto Rico.
Or someone from Japan. It's a flight.
Ooh, how about
for
Europe?
like 18 hours.
So yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of different tiers. I know we're gonna talk about a Nick cosplay tier.
Oh god.
That's gonna be probably a lot.
I wanted you to dress up as Cole Phelps from L.A. Noire, okay?
Yeah, that's not bad. You just have to wear a fancy suit
and a nice hat.
Yeah.
And you do live in the LA area, so that's a really nice plus.
Yeah, so I mean,
you'll just find you like a 1940s car replica, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be bad. Like, I know Tori and Bremen and Stephanie are all fantastic artists, so we're probably gonna do like if you donate a certain amount, we'll get them to do like an 8x11 print. So I don't know. We're still gonna hammer all that out. So please donate money. So all goes to a good cause, sick kids. We're giving our time. We're gonna we're gonna make some cool stuff. I know that I'm thinking that one of the tiers will be I'll do a Bronson Rants episode on whatever you want. If we make it to a certain amount.
Bronson Rants on Persona 4.
I could do it.
You could do it.
Bronson Rants on Bronson.
Bronson Rants on Seattle.
It's fucking expensive. It's expensive.
I mean, like,
it's
that's a pretty interesting topic.
He's had Bronson rant on himself.
Actually, that's not really hard.
It's not that hard, man.
Yeah.
I bitch about me all the time.
I mean,
like, you have to think about this. Has to be something that's really hard to hate on, because it's like, for example, if you told me hate on Zelda Twilight Princess, it's actually not that hard for me, because I could list...
The beginning of that game sucks!
Yeah, like, I can list numerous flaws in Twilight Princess, even though it's my favorite game ever. But then if you said, bash on Mass Effect 2, then I would have a really hard time doing it, because I'm like,
I can rip any game. I will rip my favorite games if you want. Like, let's talk some yang about Wind Waker. That Triforce quest is bullshit. The game needs more dungeons. Who in their fucking right mind?
Bronson Rants on Saints Row 4.
Okay, yeah.
That's the easiest thing in the world.
That one.
Well, for Nick, but Bronson thinks that's the most awesome thing ever.
That game is so fucking good. You're bad
it's
people.
Really not.
You Saints Row 4.
So
all
bad.
Right, Steph and Tori. What if I told you there is a game where you play as the President of the United States, you are in the Matrix fighting aliens, and you have superpowers?
Right.
what?
Does that sound
exactly.
Does that sound like the best thing ever?
It sounds kind of...
That's a little odd.
It sounds like a train wreck, but in the best way.
No, it's a train wreck. To be very blunt,
That's a very middle of the road response. It's like it's a train wreck, but in a good way. And I'm just like, man, this is some really neutral responses.
Oh, it's a train wreck, but there's nothing good about it.
Oh, there's so much good about it. Oh, also, you can have custom soundtracks playing the entire time you're fighting. So,
Okay, that's beautiful.
So, like, I had insane...
Oh, just because there's custom soundtracks doesn't make it a good game.
Oh, I'm not done. And with your superpowers, you get wrestling moves. So I am suplexing aliens while Insane in the Membrane plays, and I'm lighting them on fire with my mind in the Matrix.
Right. Okay, that sounds awesome.
Best game ever.
That sounds awesome until...
Yeah, just play the game and you'll
maybe
be
play it. Like lots of things in theory sound awesome, but then in reality,
realistic Pokemon.
It's like bacon sounds like the most awesome thing. Like for example, like bacon sounds like the most awesome thing ever, but then of course you would die if you eat it too much.
That just reminds
you
me
would die happy, but you would still die.
That's just end of the story. It was a big disappointment.
Okay, we're gonna play the PS4 version of that game is coming out in January. We'll do 60-minute access of it. Bring Tori and Steph into town. And
I'm gonna give the expansion a shot, but I am not playing Saints Row 4 again.
In the expansion pack, you fight the devil.
What?
Yay!
But the game itself,
this is guys. This is
Saints Row 3 was amazing, though. Saints Row 3 was the best of the franchise.
Lots of things sound amazing on paper, but sometimes don't live up to reality. Okay, I mean, how do you think marketing works?
Saints Row 4 is just like, okay, they sat at the table and came up with the most ridiculous shit they could ever do.
There's a gun that fires black holes. How can you not enjoy this?
Well, that depends how they implemented it. Okay, lots of things sound awesome. Would you like your car to have 2,000 horsepower? Sounds great, right? But then you touch the gas pedal and then your tires explode and you can't drive the car because that's too much power and now you get beat by a Civic.
Okay, so first off, Saints Row 4, like, the good aspects of that game, the traversal, running around that city is the most fun I've had in a game of that style. Including Crackdown, including Infamous, Prototype. That game, it is just fun to move around that city. Especially once you can run up walls. You run up walls, you jump off, you'll fly across half the goddamn city, and it's a blast.
That's about all the fun you can have.
No, the combat is great because you mix in gunplay with superpowers, and then the superpowers don't override the guns because they give you weird guns like the dubstep gun and fucking the black hole gun and just crazy shit like that. And then, like, the only... my problem... I said that game had problems. The checkpoints are fucked completely.
Oh, checkpoints in that game are so bad.
That game had some fucked checkpoints. It had some pretty bad glitches. One, I fell through the world. And my third... that
actually sounds like a bug that actually adds to the Saints Row 4 charm. You fell through the world.
Yep. That's fucking...
While firing your dubstep gun into the void.
There's a dubstep gun. It turns the music of dubstep into a weapon. And it fires out like rainbow lasers while it does it.
It's so stupid.
See, here's the thing. It's like...
so dumb.
It's like...
the best.
Like, stupid stuff is nice, but then it kind of... When it drags, that's where it becomes a problem. Like, for example, it's like listening to your music with lots of volume. Like you turn up your music loud. You turn up your music loud, which is awesome, but then if you leave it loud for too long, eventually you're going to get tired of it, because do you really want to sit and listen to loud music for 20 hours a day? You're just going to get tired and you just want it to turn it off.
That's why I thought Saints Row 3 was a good mix. Like, yeah, you can run around beating people up with a big purple dildo, and like, it's fun. But in Saints Row 4, it's like, it was just ridiculous. It's like, what it reminded me of is like if a kid sat down, like an imaginative kid in kindergarten came up with an idea for a video game. This is what he'd come up with.
Children are the future.
Just a bunch of stupid shit is what this game's all about. It's ridiculous. I was disappointed.
You fight aliens with velociraptors. I don't know.
This all sounds great, but I'm just talking about. I mean,
you hate joy if you dislike this game. That's my opinion.
No, you run around doing stupid shit. That's what you do in Saints Row 4.
I mean, doing stupid shit is fine, but that's all you ever do with like nothing to give it variety. If you have like nothing that gives
variety at all.
It's like the tone. No, the tone. Like the tone. It's the tone is important too. Yeah, I understand there's a lot of variety, a lot of different ways to be stupid in the game, but it's the tone is important too. It's like if it's one-dimensional tone, that could be a problem. And
it's
I haven't played the game, but I'm just saying, like, if you're one-dimensional, it's like, like a Need for Speed. You can always go 200 miles an hour, but that's all you're ever doing. It suddenly becomes really plain and normal, and then it's like, huh?
Well,
it's just 200 miles an hour.
I wouldn't waste your time with the game.
You like...
The only thing playing the game would do for you is so you could agree with me and shut Bronson down.
No, you should wait for the PS4 version because it's coming out and it's gonna be $30 or a Steam sale. Either way works, and play one of the best games of last year.
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah.
Not the last, not even close.
Yeah, it is one of the top 10 games of last year.
Absolutely fucking not.
Easily
one of the top disappointing games of last year.
One of the top 10 best video games of 2013, says thegameраccess.com.
Which comprises of a committee, Bronson.
It says Bronson Fiore.
Says the committee.
Should we talk about Devil May Cry while we're at it? Or is that 2 years ago?
Fuck that game.
Don't even get me started on that.
Oh, hey, as long as we're talking about Game of the Year Award atrocities, let's talk about Assassin's Creed 3.
Assassin's Creed 3 is not better than Mass Effect 3, damn it.
And neither of those games are better than Sleeping Dogs, so...
But at least Mass Effect 3 is better than Assassin's Creed 3, right?
I would agree with that, yes.
Assassin's Creed 3 was just a giant freaking mountain of wasted potential.
That game doesn't become a game for 7 hours. And then the game that is there after 7 hours isn't very good. And if you play it on consoles, it's pretty much unplayable. So, I mean, there's that. I feel like the only one that we don't hate each other for is 2011. That list went really well. But just, holy crap. Anyway.
This year, I don't think is going to be too crazy.
This year...
There's not any games I'm that passionate about. Next year is probably a different story. But this year, it's like, yeah. I
mean, depending on how the year closes out, my top two right now are Transistor and Donkey Kong. Which, like, those are my top two right now. Anyway,
Sleep.
So, yeah,
sleep.
Our Twitch channel is The Gamer Access. Going to be streaming all of Extra Life. Last couple things to promote before we head out. We're going to be at SnafuCon in Reno, Nevada on the 24th, and some of us the 26th. So please come say hi to everyone on the staff except for Kyrie and Nick. Nick could come. He's only 8 hours away.
Only.
Or a 2-hour plane flight.
Yeah.
So you technically could fly in, be at the panel, and then fly home.
Yeah, let me just hop on my private jet, and I'll be right over there.
You don't need a private jet.
Fly Southwest, bro.
Actually, no, if you book last minute, it's really expensive. But
yeah, well,
we'll talk that another time because sleep.
Okay, so we're going to be at SnafuCon. We're going to have a panel. Please come watch that. We're going to do an Extra Life. We got a Halloween special in the works, like we do every year. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the social networks, go, spread the word. Spread the word of your beloved cult.
What?
Yeah.
Cult? Did I walk into something really bad that I didn't know about for the past 3 years?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
It's a cult, don't be surprised.
Okay. I guess.
Quote of the night, it's a cult.
There is many things to be left undiscovered about the Gamer Access.
Oh dear.
You're already in it, Anthony. There's no leaving now.
Uh-huh.
Alright, guys. Well, that concludes Unscripted Access, episode number 107. Thank you guys for listening.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.